You'd think that by now I would have a really neat and tidy elevator pitch. Alone in a Love Story is a podcast that I made based on a memoir that I wrote. So it's an audio memoir. And it's about me at 37 being single for the first time in my life after the breakdown of my marriage as a result of infidelity. And so the story is really a love story of the two of us and then everything that happens afterward. Often, infidelity is portrayed as a very black and white sort of thing. Well, it happens all the time and it's pervasive, so like, what's the big deal? The fact that people feel grief, though, and the impact of it is very different for everyone. It's not about, oh, you hate this person now because they've done this thing, or you hate the other woman. That's really neat and tidy, and it's not neat and tidy. And I wanted to be able to share all the complexities of the way we all deal with grief differently and the way things impact us differently. The best thing anyone ever told me once was to not think of getting better as a straight line, but to think of it as a spiral. And so to not feel like every time you feel like crap or you feel bad about your situation or yourself that you've regressed, that you've taken a step backward. If you haven't, you're not moving in a straight line. One step back, 3 forward, 100 back, because that's how life is. Awful. It's awful. And it could be awful also in your 30s and 20s, I would assume. Maybe not your 20s. But I don't do dating apps or anything like that. I'm a really in-person person, and it's just dating in general. So much of it is text-based, and I find that a real barrier for me because I cannot communicate for some reason that way. I try to tune into my body language and realize like, oh, I'm hunched or I'm scowling, and it's not because I need to please anyone else on the street, but it's actually a thing I do to make myself feel, to center myself and make myself feel better again. You know, it's like how they say, like, you know, wear sexy underwear, even if you're not gonna see it, no one's gonna see it, you actually feel better if you like the feeling of sexy underwear, whatever, you know? Yeah. So it's about, I do that, like I'm reminded, and I like to like put my face at peace, think of something good, put my shoulders back, and then I walk, and then you walk with confidence, and then suddenly, you know, you're more open to others. And so I remind myself to constantly be open. That's the answer. I got there. Yes. Sometimes I think people don't realize like I am talking about the past, and so sometimes in the studio I'd say, oh man, like I do not feel that way at all. Like I almost don't want to say that on record, but I want to stay true to the experience and the person I was when I wrote it. But in doing that, I think, you know, people are like, are you all right? And I mean, are any of us all right? I'm all right, everyone, I'm okay. My daughter's great, we're great. It was very important to me to forgive my husband, to be forgiving, to talk about forgiveness. Then, if he did something that was mean, and I would think, how could he do this when I've been so good to him? I didn't take him to court, or, you know, I've forgiven him. And then somebody said to me, someone I didn't know that well, said, maybe it's okay not to forgive him. And I was like, what? I've predicated my whole, you know, healing journey on forgiveness. But this was a wonderful thing, because you don't have to forgive everybody, but you can still work with them. You can still make important decisions with them. You can still respect them. You can still be kind, tactful, all those things. And it's okay not to forgive them, actually. It was a big shift, but when I made it, it was very, very freeing. I get so many letters. People write me such beautiful, heartfelt things. Everyone tells me their story, which I love. They're all different ages, different genders, different sexual orientation, different experiences, obviously, right? Like, it's not just jilted 40-year-old ladies or something, heterosexual jilted 40-year-olds. It's everybody. I take so much time to write them back because I feel so deeply connected with them in a strange way, and because they feel connected to me. It's been amazing. It's my favorite part of the whole experience, actually. Strangely enough, I wrote something about being alone and how I hated it, and what it did was like make other people feel less alone. It gave the word a different meaning, basically, the opposite meaning. It's in saying alone, a love story, I'm saying actually, like, we're all in this mess together. No one truly is alone, but our feelings are not in isolation, and they're not isolated. Is that cheesy? It is a different feeling than the first 2 seasons. There's a change that happens. There's a somewhat resolution, but it's definitely not all tied up in a nice bow, because that's how life is, and that's really what you get, I think, out of season 3 is big, wonderful changes happen, terrible things happen, but at the end of the day, it's just this big, like, spiral staircase we're on, and that's okay. I think that is what happens in season 3, which comes out soon, and I can't wait till everyone hears it.